Um, policy, they're stuck. They have to print. They have to print, and they have to keep printing, and so you can expect that that won't stop. There's going to be a lot of talk about it stopping, or interest rates going up, but that's what it'll be. It'll be largely talk, because if the Fed stops printing for any length of time, you're going to go into a deflationary depression. So they're caught in that trap, and it's one thing that's worse. And I know when you say inflation is actually running hotter than what you think, which is likely true. It's also, there's another aspect that people don't talk about, and that aspect is the natural market is actually deflationary, and so you're not measuring from zero. You're probably measuring from -4.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And obviously, I mean, that's what your book is about, and that's what you talk about quite frequently. So, what do you make of the argument that inflation now is transitory?
So here's the thing, and in Bitcoin and everything else, we got to be careful we don't step in that landmine, and because it actually just may be, it actually probably is. And if you think about all of the things that are being pushed up right now because of staggering amount of stimulus, and that stimulus push makes all prices go up. But for inflation to be long term, move into at this rates for long term or hyperinflation, one of two things has to happen. The currency has to collapse to move into hyperinflation, which is not likely anytime soon. And the other thing that needs to happen is, or labor needs to be able to demand way higher wages. And what naturally happens. So now think about this, and in a whole bunch of different scenarios. House prices are rising a lot right now. Lumber prices are rising a lot right now. They went up 3 times. So what happens when they ease money? They stop printing as much money, and the base rate on their inflation calculation is 3 times on lumber and up on pricing of housing and everything else, and that falls. You're going to move into deflation pretty quickly. And what that means is it's going to look like policymakers were right. Right. So there's going to be a whole bunch of people saying that inflation, we're going to get hyperinflation. We're not. And then it's going to reinforce that policymakers were right all along to print money. That's actually why I talked about that in the book. They are trapped in a system that has to keep doing this, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and the theft of the middle class and poor gets worse and worse and worse. So the real tail risk comes from societal breakdown. That's what ends up happening. Or other countries, because other countries are going to hit hyperinflation before the US, and you'll see it in other areas, but you won't see it in the US right now, and they'll look like there's room. So we're living in a macro deflationary environment that is exponentially deflationary, and on the other side of that policy is policy trying to stop that from happening.